All right, the Reds, what a draw that was then. It's worked out perfectly for the Reds. The Reds have drawn Benfica in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and Benfica were, before the draw, 66-1 to win the Champions League. The biggest odds you could get on a team left in the draw. They are now 200-1. So I think it's fair to say most people expect Liverpool to progress. In the semi-finals, we can get, should we get there, but I think we will. We can get Villarreal or Bayern Munich. And should we get to the final, we would be the home side in the final. So I think most people would say that is a pretty good draw. It's worked out quite well for the Reds. But what a rigmarole though for this draw thing. Yeah. And you know, all the fuss and getting a former player in and people in suits from each club sitting in the crowd and crap music and the whole thing. I'll show you how easy it is to do a Champions League draw. Right, Liverpool. Who do you want, Fuad? Draw one. Oh, he's gone for Real Madrid. Real Madrid, if it had been up to Fuad. That's no good, is it?
I didn't do it, yeah.
So, good job he never done it. Shout out to Michael behind the camera there, doing the marketing. He drew Man City when he had a go. Someone got Villarreal. Is that Josh? Josh, yeah, Josh got Villarreal. So he would have been good. But no, we in fact got, who did we get? Benfica. So fuck that off. We didn't get them. We got Benfica.
The nice stats though.
Yeah, I know. We got the nice stats for Benfica though. Here we go. Come on, paper unfold, you fucker. Okay, so Benfica in the Portuguese league, they are currently third. They've won 18 of their 26 games. They're on 58 points, significantly off the pace for the title. Porto out in front on 70 points. I think most people think this is an excellent draw, both in terms of quality of the opposition, i.e. not being that high, but also a nice trip for the Reds who are going to go out to Portugal. Let's have a look at their results, if I can actually read this. So what have they done in terms of Champions League so far? They have beat Spartak Moscow 2-0. They have beat PSV Eindhoven 2-1. What else have they done? They've drawn with PSV away. They drew with Dynamo Kiev away. They beat Barcelona.
That's the big one, yeah.
They beat Barcelona 3-0. So that is the one where you're like, hello. They got tonked by Bayern Munich 4-0. What else? And
5-2 as well, I think, in the second game.
0-0 in the new camp as well, which is not to be sniffed at. That's pretty decent as well. 2-0 against Bayern. 2-0 against Dynamo Kiev. Any more? 2-2 with Ajax. 1-0 at Ajax, which is how they've now progressed. So yeah, I mean, you've got to be happy with that, haven't you, Fuad?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're at that stage, and I get the argument from a lot of people that you want to play, get the big boys out of the way now and all that. But Liverpool are challenging on a lot of fronts here, and you want the other thing to look at really is that City game as well is sandwiched in the middle of this, isn't it? And if, look, this is a huge if, but Liverpool show they can go away in Europe and get huge results. Porto is the big one, where Liverpool go and just make the second leg a complete non-event. Liverpool can kind of do similar and go to Benfica and get a good result. Then that's an opportunity then, to then, all eyes on that City game. And then you sort of don't have to look as much into the game after that. With the squad that we have, you're able to bring in people. The big thing is avoiding the English teams, I think, when it comes to Europe, because you don't want, just from the idea of the trip and the idea of playing, European teams, you want to be going to places, you want to be experiencing different teams and different sort of places. So I'm really happy that that's worked out, and that's also worked out in the semi-final, which is great as well, because it's going to be likely that if Liverpool make it all the way, they will be playing English opposition in the final. And I'm just about okay with that. But before that, you'd like to play these European teams and get a taste of Europe and of teams you don't play so often. So second leg at Anfield
as well.
Always great. Yeah.
Should it not go to plan, it is always good. Atletico getting City as well seems. a good one in terms of you'd expect them to beat them, but you can imagine them frustrating them, you can imagine them doing their heads in, you can imagine Pep overthinking it, you can imagine it being an issue for City. Whereas as you say, look, I mean, people watching might think we're getting a bit too cocky here, but I think we are talking about a great Liverpool side, and they are capable of going out to Benfica and basically sorting the tie. Yeah. And then, you know, second leg, you can rest legs a little bit, you can bring in, you know, peripheral players and things like that, you get it done. Whereas City, you know, you can see that game going into the second leg and all that kind of stuff and being a bit of an issue for them.
Exactly. I mean, you talked through the Portuguese league table there. You know, Porto are miles ahead at top of the league at, you know, 14 points clear or something. And what have Liverpool done to Porto this season and in previous seasons? So, you know, there is a bit of perspective. I completely get the idea that, you know, these are European games, they're one-off games, anything can happen. But, you know, this season, the Champions League, you know, Benfica have conceded more goals than they've scored. So, you know, you're not talking about a team maybe that's, you know, in as great form as Porto has been. You know, they're comfortably in third. They haven't got a threat in terms of getting the Champions League spot. They haven't got anywhere near a chance of going for the league. So they're in a bit of that weird comfort zone, which means they can treat this like their final, and they definitely will. It's a great stadium, historic club. You know, all that with Benfica, and that comes with being a big European club. It's all there, but you know, Liverpool have gone to far more intimidating places and far greater sides against far greater sides and gotten results. So. You can't not be confident. I know you don't want to talk yourselves into complacency, but yeah, why not?
It's a good draw. We're happy with it. We're made up. It's sound. And look, the odds are interesting. I mentioned Benfica going out to 200 to 1 to win the thing now. Liverpool have come in, so we were 3 to 1 before the draw to win the Champions League. We're now 2 to 1. City have gone from 2 to 1 to 15 to 8. Bayern Munich have gone from 7 to 2 to 3 to 1. Chelsea have gone out. From 8 to 1 to 12 to 1. Real Madrid have gone out from 9 to 1 to 14. Atletico have gone out from 16 to 25. Yeah, Villarreal 100 to 1. Benfica 200 to 1. In terms of the admin as well, the home matches the first legs will be 5th and 6th of April. Second legs 12th and 13th. Semi-finals will be 26th and 27th of April. Second legs of semi on the 3rd and 4th of May. And the final, of course, is in Paris, 28th of May, moved from St. Petersburg after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Benfica stuff then, a little bit more on them. They have won the European Cup twice, but we'll have absolutely no bearing on this because it was in 1962 and 1961. They've won the league 37 times. Wow. They've won the Portuguese Cup 26 times. They've won the Portuguese League Cup 7 times and the Portuguese Super Cup 8 times. But I don't think they're going to be winning this little fella this time because they've drawn the Reds. This is the best they've done in terms of the Champions League for a few years as well. They reached the last 16 in 2017. That time they went out to Borussia Dortmund. The last few seasons they've been sort of in group stages and going out at the group stage, but last 16 they beat Ajax and now they're into the quarters, so fair play. They got to the quarters in 2016 as well, beaten by Bayern Munich, and then a load more group stages. Quarterfinals in 2012 as well, beaten by Chelsea. Group stage, quarterfinals in 2006, beaten by Barcelona, and quarterfinals in 1995, beaten by Milan. And against the Reds, we have got some history against them. So there are 4 Benfica wins, no draws, and 6 Liverpool wins. The last time was 2010. We beat them 4-1 at Anfield, and we lost 2-1 away in the Europa League. Before that, 2006, we played them in the Champions League. They beat us 2-0 at Anfield, and they beat us 1-0 away back in 2006. And then we're going back into time before Fuad was born and that. 1985, they beat us away. We beat them 3-1 at home. 84, we beat them 4-1 away and 1-0 at Anfield. And then 1978, we beat them 4-1 at Anfield, with a lot of 4-1s going on. 4-1 at Anfield and 2-1 away. So that is your your history of Benfica that I compiled that for every club this morning for my little draw trick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Into that, lad?
Maybe we go through all of them.
Yeah, get into that.
Good,
So yeah, and then, you know, the semis, I mean, we can get ahead of ourselves here, but you'd expect Bayern Munich to beat Villarreal.
Yeah.
And then Bayern Munich, huge game, big club, all of that. But, you know, already I'm thinking, well, we went there and did it last time, do you know what I mean? We've beat them before, they'll know that. And it's back to the thing for me, like, whoever we'd drawn, I think they would have feared Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I think Bayern Munich will fear Liverpool.
Yeah, it's that thing, you know, Inzaghi's talked about before the Milan draw. You know, Liverpool were the last team on his list in terms of who they wanted to draw, and you could probably ask all the other sides, they'd be thinking the same. You know, you don't want to be drawing Liverpool at this stage in the form they're in the momentum they have, and yeah, you know, these are going to be interesting games. I think the Villarreal one, you know, yes, on paper Bayern should go through. You know, they're flying, the quality they've got. But, you know, Villarreal, even though they've not been doing that great in their league, you know, they've got this weird feeling of being a cup team, and all these big games, they always kind of stand up to, even the ones that don't.
Well, they won the Europa, didn't they?
They won the Europa, yeah. You know, against United in that final, didn't they? And this season they've had some big results, and, you know, going to Juventus and winning 3-0, you know, it doesn't matter what that Juventus side is really impressive, and they're impressive in the home games. They've got individual quality. It's just not in depth, and the manager's great. You know, Emre is a good manager. He knows what he's doing, and especially in Europe. So, you know, that's not going to be any walk in the park for Munich. And, you know, even this Benfica game, you know, we can talk up our chances, and so we should be. But, you know, they're also a side that do have, you know, quality. That Nunez up front, who's sort of been labelled as the new kind of hot prospect in Europe in terms of where he's at in his development, at the age he's at. You know, people are talking about big moves. Liverpool have been linked. A lot of clubs have been linked. He scores the winner against Ajax in the last round. And, you know, there's some players that in that side that we've seen as well. The back, Otamendi and Jan Vertonghen, you know, in the Premier League. They've got experience. Older now, probably don't have the legs like they used to. But, you know, again, players that have been there and played in big games. So, you know, they do have experience. If the coach isn't as experienced himself, there is experience all over that pitch a little bit. So they're not going to be a walk in the park, obviously, and you're not expecting that at this stage.
People are giving it 81 vibes here as well. Obviously, we beat Bayern Munich in the semis, and then we beat Real Madrid in the final in Paris.
Right. Wow.
So, I mean,
that'd be great. You avoid all the English teams and have a nice big.
Be superb. I mean, we'd have to get Phil Thompson in again, wouldn't we, for a chat about that one if it happened. People are talking about it. There is other news out there this morning. Not so good news, to be fair. Although there's plenty of chat of diddles here. But it's been announced that Trent Alexander-Arnold has been ruled out for several weeks with a hamstring injury. He will withdraw from the England squad. And also, as it's reported, will miss some decisive matches in Liverpool's pursuit of the quadruple. He's set to miss out the potential title decider at Manchester City on the 9th or 10th of April, says The Guardian, and both legs of the Champions League quarter-final, and could face a race to be fit for the meeting with Manchester United on the 19th of April. Yeah, it represents a blow, blah, 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 blah. It says here, Conor Bradley could be in line to deputise for Alexander-Arnold in the quarter-final at Nottingham Forest on Sunday in the FA Cup. Milner, who has stood in for him in the past, missed Wednesday's win at Arsenal because of illness. Joe Gomez is another alternative. Trent is out with a hamstring. He will not be part of England as well, Klopp said. We will see how long it will take, but of course to replace Trent is difficult but possible. We always did it. We have Joe, and theoretically we can change the system as well. So we have a couple of options, but he is very influential. If you look in the past when Millie had to step in, he did incredibly well. He just has to be available, and then that is fine. I don't know if he will be for Sunday. Maybe we have a very young solution as well. The way Alexander-Arnold plays, I don't know any player who plays like Trent in the world. So it will be difficult to find a 1 versus 1 replacement. It is a blow, that, isn't it, mate?
No, it is a big blow. I mean, we're talking about replacing, you know, a player that's unique in his position, and it's going to be a time, I think, you know, when we're going to need other areas of the pitch maybe to step up a little bit more in terms of the creative side of things. I feel like recently, you know, there's been less of that from him, isn't he? There's been very tight and disciplined defensive performances. You know, against Arsenal, you really had to be sharp going back the other way against Martinelli, who's, you know, a really, really good footballer, and we're going to see a bit more of that, I think, where sides will be probably looking to attack that. But Gomez, you know, I would look at him as the natural one to step in more often than not. You know, Milner's obviously got got qualities as well that we've used before. I remember that Leicester game, I think it's the one where he plays and he sort of shines a bit. But yeah, Gomez...
You'd be worried if it was a winger with pace.
Yeah, you would
coming
be.
Up against him.
Yeah, exactly. That City game, I don't think you want, James Milner coming up on that side against whoever he's going to have to face, because they're all, all those City wingers are quick and really skillful.
I want to do another draw. I was going to get like some of the support and casting behind the scenes to come and do a draw and see who they
got all the envelopes still there.
Yeah, we're still here. You open one, lad?
I opened one, yeah. I got excited. I thought we were going to go through them all.
You open Real Madrid. We can't go through all these. That would be here all day. But yeah, let's do another draw. So who did you get there?
I got Real Madrid.
You got Real Madrid, didn't you? Who wants to go? Tom, you going to come and pick a team, lad? Yeah, you got to get the full hit in. See who you would have got, lad.
Yeah.
Don't cheat.
Right, straight down.
Go, let the camera see.
Manchester City.
Oh. Fucking hell, lad. Get off. Get off. He'd be no good, would he? Fucking
Michael's mate over there.
Sylvester did a better job than you, lad. Anyone else want to go? Michael?
I'll go on.
Come on, lad. Who would you get? He's already had to go upstairs. Second go.
City. I got one City twice. Atletico Madrid.
Okay.
Wouldn't want to play them again, would you?
Yeah. Yeah. Preferred the draw we had.
If anyone wants to just sort of like come in off the street and have a go at the draw right now, just knock on the side door there. We'll let you in and you can have a go. Okay, let's have a look at what people are saying in the comments. This is a live Talking Red, so I always like to have a little mooch. Lots of people saying, couldn't have asked for a better draw. Great draw, take that any day of the week, says John there. Patrick says, perfect draw in capital letters. Scott says, what a draw for the Reds. It's a home draw second in the semi. Blah, blah, blah. Perfect. About time we got some luck in the cup draws, says Daniel. We've been doing all right, haven't we, with the cup draws? I think, with the FA Cup as well, it's like, big game on Sunday, Forest, all of that. They'll be up for it. They're flying in the championship. But you would still expect the Reds to win it. And before that, what do we have? Norwich at home. Shrewsbury. Do you know what I mean? We have been doing all right for once with the old draws.
It's really important, isn't it? Like we can always talk about the idea that you have to beat the best teams anyway, but the draw plays a huge part in it, and the fact that we've also we know who we're going to potentially face in the semis as well. You can see this is where you start to see the pathway to the final, isn't it? It's always that quarterfinal draw where you get the real excitement because you can see the route all the way there. You know Liverpool are going to be the home team in the final, are they? Yeah. So
we are.
All that you've kind of got. You're starting to imagine it all coming together now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Someone says we should have done the draw or our version of the draw from a bag of crisps. I knew, I knew someone would say this, and I meant to make this joke myself, but Amaz reminded me. He says all these envelopes are giving me Brendan Rodgers documentary vibes. I did mean to make that joke, so thanks for reminding me there, mate. About time we got a perfect draw for once. Time for Real Madrid revenge final, methinks. Atleti shithousery against City is going to be hilarious. It will indeed be hilarious. It was hilarious against the other set of Mancs, and they of course knocked them out. It was hilarious to see Ranić afterwards moaning about the shithousery, and it was like, that's what they do, mate. That's what Simeone sides do. And now we get to watch that against City. That's going to be enjoyable.
It's going to be great. Are they away first leg, City, or are they at home?
You've asked me a big question.
About that. But either way, you know there's going to be a point in that game, where Guardiola's head goes a bit. And also, it's not someone he's alien to. He's had to face Simeone before, I think, and he'll know him well, and there'll be that added sort of edge to that. And we've seen recently the City side are able to lose their heads a little bit easier than they probably did once upon a time in this season. Against Crystal Palace, you saw De Bruyne and others sort of lose it a bit. So, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one just purely because it's going to be a bit tight and it's going to be a bit sort of dirty, if you like, and Atletico score a goal on the counter, then you've got a big kind of a task for City on their hands to try and get one back after that, because they haven't been as clinical in the last couple of games, have they?
John Murray from 5 Live, who's excellent and one of my favourite commentators. He's on the BBC website saying here about Benfica. They are under interim management at the moment. They finished second in their group behind Bayern Munich, but at the same time they did actually qualify for the knockout stages ahead of Barcelona. They beat Barcelona 3-0 and knocked out Ajax this week, but out of all the ties, the one you would have wanted in the last 8 would have been Benfica. Also, Liverpool will be at Anfield in the second leg of that tie, says John. He's absolutely spot on there. And I'm trying to find, like, just give me a list of the draw. Here we go. So the full draw, in case you missed it, was Chelsea v Real Madrid, Man City at the home side. To answer your question, Fuad. So Man City v Atletico Madrid, Villarreal v Bayern Munich, and Benfica v Liverpool. So yeah, they're at home first. So yeah, but either way, it will annoy them. It's bound to annoy them. It's bound to be a bit of a problem for them, and it's great. What else have we got?
And from our perspective, they'll be playing that game again. We'll be playing them in the league in between those 2 games. So you'd be looking at that. Hopefully, there's a little bit of a carry-on effect going into that if they do struggle in that first game.
I do love when we started to get like the romantic stuff and the vibes of the past and all that, and people start saying, this was the year, this year the Pope got a side part and he's got one this year, so it means that, and all that stuff, like Deirdre was on Corrie and she did this and she's in it now and she's done that, or whatever it might be, all these mad things. I'm sure that's all going to start happening. But lots of people saying about semi v Bayern Munich, followed by a final in Paris v Real Madrid. Where have we heard that one before? 1981, of course. Won the League Cup that year as well, says Michael in the background there. Good knowledge.
In 1984, we beat Benfica as well.
And we beat Benfica in 84, says Tom. Look at this, eh?
Do you want to swap out?
Apparently the odds have come in further, says the Spaniard here now. The bookies now have us at joint 2-1 favourites with City for the Champions League. And City still haven't won the thing. No. Got to the final last year, of course. Got beat. Liverpool are still the European royalty of this country. So why not have us right at the top of that list? Because we've gone and won the thing before. We don't bottle it in the final like City do. How long will Trent be out? We don't know yet, mate, but we shall see. But it sounds like weeks is what was said in the press conference. The Anfield Wrap. Oh yeah, that's you over there, isn't it? Anyone booked your flights yet? Is our home leg first or second? It is second, mate, which is what you normally want, isn't it? Anything else? Hope Trent enjoys his vacation.
Well, that's what I was hoping, when you see several weeks,
Yeah, and you're like, international break,
exactly.
And you're like...
Yeah, withdrawn from England squad immediately, all that. But it's hard.
Hello, is that Gareth Southgate? Yeah, Trent's got a twisted sock. He'll be back for all the big games, though. Let's hope it is one of them. We shall see. Who did United get? Who did Everton get as well?
Benfica have got a player called Everton.
Have they?
Yeah.
Hey, absolute knowledge bombs. Knowledge bombs all over this talking rant. Okay, well, that has been our reaction to the draw. It is a fantastic draw for Liverpool. Liverpool surely have got every chance of going and winning the big one once again. Let's get excited. This is great. The quadruple is on. It's the best chance we've ever had of doing this. Klopp's talking it down. We're not. Up the Reds. This is Boss.